Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
And we begin tonight with news 17 long years in the making in Oakland County. The former site of Kmart World Headquarters at one of Troy's busiest intersections is finally going to be redeveloped. U of M Health has now bought the land and plans to build a new clinical facility at the corner of Big Beaver and Coolidge.
It's going to replace what was once really an iconic building. Here's a bit of a history lesson if you don't know. Kmart World Headquarters opened in 1972 at the company's height. 3,000 people worked in the 906,000 square foot building. Our Paula Tutman shows us why this new development is such a big deal for people living in the area.
I remember when this Kmart store was open. I actually shopped here. And true story, when I interviewed for my job at Channel 4 many years ago, there was a guy on my airport shuttle who was also interviewing for a corporate job at Kmart. But then all of a sudden, this store and stores like it just closed down and the blue light specials just started to dim. And then that corporate headquarters closed with that mammoth footprint. And I remember thinking, what on earth are they going to do with all of this property that's going to honor this prestigious location? It was devastating when the headquarters for Kmart closed in 2006. It started off with the selling off of the pieces of Michigan's history by losing stores one by one. And then the iconic Kmart headquarters disappeared in every way when its 1 million square foot facility was sent into the dust. The mammoth footprint it left off of Big Beaver, hard to miss, but now new life to that iconic corner as the University of Michigan Health Organization expands its medical services and announces it's got plans for 7 acres of that site and has purchased it for $4.42 million to expand medical access.
Last year, there were more than 180,000 patients that came to receive care at Michigan Medicine from Wayne, Oakland, and Macomb counties.
U of M Health says it'll be building a multi-specialty facility to expand specialty clinical services, to increase patient access to the Tri-County region, adding to its already formidable presence in the western burbs of the Ann Arbor area. The focus will be advanced specialty and diagnostic services.
I will tell you that our focus will be on adult subspecialty care, and in particular will be inclusive of multi-specialty, multidisciplinary cancer care, inclusive of our ability to build out ambulatory surgical capabilities at this new site.
Groundbreaking is expected to begin in 2025, and by 2027, a brand new medical facility at that once iconic corner. Paula Tutman, Local 4.
Paula, thank you. There are still nearly 30 acres on that site to be developed, and there are other big companies who are eyeing the site as well, including the Forbes company. Our other top story tonight, devastating new information into that deadly fire in Madison Heights that led our newscast Wednesday.
Yeah, police now say that fire was set as part of a murder-suicide involving a man and his ex-girlfriend. Sean Lay spent the day talking with neighbors in the area. Sean, there were so many questions surrounding that fire right off the bat.
And Devin, we got the call, and so did fire, to come here, and we came here to check things out. It looked like something was up from the start with this particular fire. In fact, if you at home want to see this house, this is the house here that was full of smoke but no flames. We don't know how or why that happened, and 2 people perishing in the home. And firefighters got here so quickly and got them out. It just didn't kind of make sense. And investigators really went over this with a fine-tooth comb and did find that it was a tragedy inside that home. Here's what happened.
When I first saw it, the fire trucks were here. Looked like they were getting ready, and there was smoke coming out the top of the roof.
We never saw flames.
But I never did see flames.
Did you think that was odd?
Yeah, I thought that was very odd.
Louis Konecki lives across the street from the home on Harwood in Madison Heights, the scene of Wednesday's fatal fire. Madison Heights firefighters charged right into the home to check if anyone was inside. 2 people were discovered. Firefighters got them out and began life-saving measures, but both people did not survive. Local 4 cameras were there, and we noticed exactly what Mr. Konecki noticed, that there was smoke but no visible fire. We also noticed that Madison Heights fire officials said the fire was under investigation by police. MSP's forensic crime lab was brought here from Lansing, and now we know why. This double fatal fire was a murder-suicide. The man found inside the home has been identified as 40-year-old Christopher Spicer. An autopsy revealed Spicer's cause of death was suicide by self-inflicted stab wounds. Then a 30-year-old woman found in the home has been identified as Candace Hawking. Her cause of death has been ruled a homicide. She was found with stab wounds that were not self-inflicted.
It was surprising to me because, I never seen them have any arguments, any fights, anything.
Back here live. So neighbor here, Lewis, indicating there was a relationship between these two, and fire and police here in Madison Heights are confirming that, saying at some point the two did have a relationship. What went down inside the house, though, still remains a mystery. And also, guys, how the fire started. If there's self-inflicted stab wounds and a murder, they've got to check out exactly what happened in there. Back to you.
And Sean, this was a fire that was all hands on deck, right?
Because there was a rescue. There were two people inside. A neighbor from here went over there banging on the door. Fire got here quickly. Royal Oak brought a rig. Birmingham brought a rig. Hazel Park. This was a rescue attempt, and so it's just a tragedy that it ended up the way it did. Yeah, sure did. All right, Sean. All right, let's move now to Baltimore, where work has shifted from recovery to a massive salvage operation at the site of the Francis Scott Key Bridge.
The immediate work is to reopen shipping lanes to get the port back up and running. Jay Gray is in Baltimore for us tonight.
Good evening, Devin. Good evening, Kimberly. The NTSB investigation expanding today as Navy salvage vessels begin the trip to the crash site, preparing for the next phase here, the difficult cleanup and recovery. Federal investigators back on board the wrecked container ship today.
Our entire focus on scene is to collect the perishable evidence. That's documenting the scene, it's taking photographs, it's taking any sort of electronics or components.
The NTSB recovering and now analyzing the ship's voyage data recorder and continuing interviews with crew members. The team also spending significant time in the engine room of the vessel. Black smoke was pouring from the ship, which apparently lost power and propulsion just minutes before slamming into the center column of the Francis Scott Key Bridge. Divers have now been pulled from the water just a day after locating 2 of the 6 missing victims from the crash. The 4 men still unaccounted for, believed to be buried under the debris, which means identification and recovery likely won't happen until the salvage process begins. Navy ships with lifts and cranes are en route to the site. Along with the Coast Guard, they will lead the effort to clear away debris.
This work is not going to take hours. This work is not going to take days. This work is not going to take weeks. We have a very long road ahead of us.
It's still not clear how long it may take for the nation's 11th largest port to come back online. Rebuilding the bridge is expected to take 5 years or more. And back to the investigation now, the NTSB saying it could take 2 years for a full report on the accident, but that preliminary information about how and why it happened could be available in just a few weeks. In Baltimore, I'm Jay Gray, Local 4.
Hey, Jay, the cost of insurance claims for the damage to the bridge is expected to total well into the billions of dollars.
We turn to the weather now as we take a live look outside. That's I-94 in Romulus near the airport.
Yeah, sun shining after a pretty chilly start to the day. So let's get over to Kim Adams and our first look at the forecast. Kim.
Boy, that sunshine just makes it all better, though, right? With temps right now in the upper 40s. We even touched 50 degrees out at the airport. It's 46 in Howell, 47 in Pontiac, upper 40s in Adrian. Just a few puffy fair weather clouds, otherwise blue skies, and a really pretty evening here in Metro Detroit. Upper 40s in Mount Clemens, 47 in Pontiac, upper 40s in Ann Arbor, and 49 in Monroe. Tomorrow, it's another cold start to the day with temps only in the 20s, but we get lots and lots of sunshine through the day, and by 4 o'clock, we'll have a high of 52 degrees. As we look ahead to the weekend, well, it's going to be a wet start to the weekend on Saturday. Then Sunday looks like it does dry out just in time for those sunrise services. But coming up in the forecast, we'll talk a little bit more about what we can expect for Saturday. Doesn't look like it will be an entire washout, so we'll time things out for you in just a few minutes.